recording.
Today is July 2nd, 2020, and ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the first ever episode of the Mashing Joys podcast. I am with you today, your host, Cody Myers, aka Mediocre Panda, and sitting alongside with me here across the interwebs is my co-host, my cousin, and most importantly, my co-conspirator for world domination, Mr. Jason Kaysen. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal because we're finally doing this.
Yeah, it's super exciting that this is finally launched.
We've been planning this for months. For those of you in the know within the network, Jason here is host of the fastest growing sports podcast in Idaho, Case in Point. And I am so honored to have this man sitting across from me doing this with me. This has been so much planning, so much, all this stuff going into it, and finally we're getting it done.
Literally the excuse as to why we play video games so much together.
Yeah. We've spent hours rage quitting in Warzone fucking planning this podcast.
Oh, so many hours. So many hours.
So much bullshit.
Yeah, it would literally go like if we were playing well, we wouldn't even talk about the show. But the moment that it went the complete fucking opposite direction, it was like, hey, so the podcast, what are we thinking?
When's that finally gonna happen? You know,
like immediately flip the switch. And I'm super stoked, not only for this show, because I think that it's a whole nother realm that I get to attack, obviously not doing sports, but I am super excited for the Case in Point network to kind of grow, which is going to be awesome, trying to bring multiple podcasters. And you know how I see it is me starting a podcast kind of started the whole idea, but you and I doing this podcast is going to launch the network where we want it to go. And you know, we might have slowly gotten you into the producer role for the Case in Point show, but you know, getting you in there was key to launch this. And you know, this is going to go very far. I'm very excited for it, and I think that this is just the first step, but I love it. I'm stoked.
Yeah. And we've got so much planned for the future already. It's insane. You'd think we've been doing this for like at least a year, which to an extent we kind of have been, just not on record.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than some slight conversations we've had on some of the stuff I've posted to YouTube on my personal channel. But, you know, we've had a lot of just talks that we've said at the end of it, man, this would be a great discussion piece for a show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, talking about games, how we feel about them, other sorts of entertainment, because we're going to kind of touch on everything. Primarily a lot of gaming stuff, but comic books, movies, all the latest stuff coming out in basically every form of entertainment there is. So I'm super stoked for it. I'm a huge fan of all that stuff. I'm sure we'll talk some sports here and there.
Yeah, I mean, it'll cross paths for sure.
Yeah. So essentially, for anyone listening here, we are going to be talking about everything. All sorts of entertainment, anything that entertains us. We're going to talk about and probably sound kind of stupid doing so, but that's kind of to be expected. Mm-hmm. But we've got really good expectations for the show. I think we think you're going to love it. We hope you love it. And we're excited to do our thing, you know? We're in our element. So, what do you say we officially get this thing rolling?
Let's do it.
All right, dude. Jesus, as I knock everything over. So one thing that we want to start kind of every show with is talking about what we've been playing, what we're excited to play, things like that, and all the goings-ons in the gaming world. So, Jay, what's been piquing your eye lately? What have you been playing, bro?
Well, obviously we talked about Warzone. We've been playing Warzone a lot. But the times where our schedules don't collide, actually recently I picked up the new, or not the new, but Sonic Mania.
Sonic Mania is so good.
We me and my son Zayden, we watched the Sonic movie and loved it, and then it branched off into, Dad, can we play the Sonic game? And then that launched into basically 3 hours of Sonic gameplay where I played as Tails, he played as Sonic, and then he fell in love with Knuckles. So then I obviously went to Tails because he's my favorite, and just, I mean, we've probably played that 3 days out of the last week. So that's been exciting. And then I tried to pick back up the new God of War because I bought it, never played it. Didn't want to start it because I knew that once I started it, I'd get sucked in, and literally got like 30 minutes in and I could already feel like the pressure of, oh my God, this is all I'm going to be able to play forever. So I immediately turned it off and was like, what can I play now? So I picked back up 2K20, been kind of playing with my team, because now all the cards are like dirt cheap. So I can literally do like 3 challenges and then buy the card that I want. So I'm building my All Rockets roster.
Oh man, I thought you were talking about WWE 2K20.
Oh yeah, let's start there.
No, that game's a fucking travesty. No,
the sport that it's made after is a travesty.
Yeah, all right.
Or entertainment circle. It's not a sport.
Vince McMahon calls it sports entertainment. Because wrestling's a dirty word.
Yeah. Fair enough. But no, the good 2K20.
Okay. That's a very good distinction.
Yeah. So I got
of the sport.
Yeah. So got a not a like super stellar team because like the 99 overall cards are still super expensive, but got a good squad. Got like a 92 overall Hakeem, got a 98 overall Samson, 90, I think it's like a 92 T-Mac, 96 Harden, and a 98 Russell Westbrook.
Nice.
Rockets.
Shout out to T-Mac, bro. I think
GOAT.
Yeah. I think I speak for both of us when we say he's our favorite player of all time.
Easily.
His game was fucking probably, I'd say top 5. Do I? Oh, does he? Yeah, he does.
Yeah, dude, no. It's T-Mac's lazy eye, bro. That's like, literally, you ask any, like even Kobe did a thing on it that he was the toughest to guard because you just like, he was just so like calm. You had no idea where he was going, what he was doing with the ball. And to this day, I will still stand behind my thought, because when I saw T-Mac play, that was literally like everything that I paid attention to was his lazy eye. I was like, bro, you don't even know where the dude's looking. Like, you know, he's going right, he's going left, he's freaking you out. Yeah, he was the GOAT.
And he got fucking buckets with that lazy eye too.
Bro, anywhere too. He's like Kobe. You can get the ball in the hoop anywhere, anytime. Didn't matter the clock, didn't matter the defense. Unfortunately, injuries screwed his career, but he was a good player even with his injuries.
Yeah, I think easily top 3 players without a ring.
Oh yeah,
easily.
Yeah, Barkley, McGrady, Grant Hill. No, Karl Malone.
Oh yeah, Malone never got one.
Karl Malone's definitely up there. Yeah, he might not be top 3, bro. Like Stockton's probably up there.
Yeah, I think
AI.
I don't know. AI, yeah, he did so much to progress the game. I think Malone over Stockton just because of the diversity he brought to the court. He could do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's the leading scorer in NBA history for a reason. Like, this man could put the ball in the bucket. He could get the ball. But,
no, for sure, I agree. What have you been playing? Well, I mean, I
Well,
know what you've been playing, but
yeah.
lighten the listeners
Yeah.
on the mind fuck you've been going through.
Yeah, man. So if I've talked to you all ever, I've probably mentioned a little game called The Last of Us Part 2 to you. And Jesus fucking Christ, that game. It is so, to an extent, challenging. I'm at a part right now where it's a little challenging with some of the fuckos to deal with. I won't get too deep into it because I haven't finished the game yet, and I don't want to ruin it for everyone else. Eventually, we'll probably talk in depth about it, and in which case the spoiler warning will be in full effect. But yeah, no, it's been a mind fuck, emotionally draining for sure. Like, there's so many ups and downs, and just when you think you're safe, you absolutely aren't. I know I had one point where I was jumping out of my seat screaming, "What the fuck just happened?" Things were so good, and now they're shit. So I've been playing a lot of that. Warzone, obviously, with you a lot. We did our duos placement matches in Rocket League the other day. That went super well.
For one of us.
Yeah, listen, I helped. Okay, I started scoring after we finished our placement. All right.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it was fun. That's all that matters.
Yeah, we had fun. Hopefully, we get back into that. Dude, that entire time we were just like, I miss this.
You're the only one that you have to convince, bro. You were the one that broke your controller during one of our first tournaments. By the way, while we're on the topic, let's enlighten the people about Mr. Case and Point's fantastic hold down when both you and Mike didn't show up to the first game, and I took on a whole squad by myself and beat them, and they reported me for not having all three players, so we got the loss. But I beat them. One person v3.
Case in Point's claim to fame is that he
and then you guys
won a tournament game that didn't fucking
we got
count.
our ass kicked.
Yep.
And you broke your controller. And we didn't play Rocket League for like a month.
Yeah. I think we said the other night it was the first time we played Rocket League since Christmas 2018.
Yep.
And we weren't very good like then. Somehow you placed silver and I barely placed bronze.
I'll be gold in no time.
Yeah. I won't be, but I'm happy to ride your coattails just like I am right now. So, yeah, Last of Us, Rocket League, Warzone, a little bit of Apex Legends here and there. That's still like my go-to BR. I think it's just the best made out of all of them. The maps.
I love Apex. I haven't been playing as much, just because really, that's like the one game that I refuse to play with randoms. Not because it's not fun, because I feel like Apex you can hold your own a little bit better than Warzone. But even for me, and I'm not even that good at that game, but it's just not. It's not as fun because I feel like the interaction with your teammates is the best part. Like Call of Duty, you're so focused on the objective that sometimes it's fun, like when you're getting crazy kills or knockdowns or whatever. But for the most part, it's like constant strategy that you're talking.
Yeah.
Apex, oh, we should go over here. All right, cool. Ring's closing. All right, cool. But for the most part, you're just like, oh, remember that time? And you're just bullshitting the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's like what makes that game so fun. So I haven't played it because generally when we play, we're playing Warzone or something else.
Yeah. Typically, the only
Apex.
time we really dip into Apex is when our boy Kyle is available.
Hell yeah.
Because he's actually good at the game. So
carry life. 100%. I will not. Yeah.
Yeah. That dude's just crazy. Shout out to Radwagon.
Radwagon.
Yeah. Your one stop. Your
one-stop shop for box talk.
Yep. Non-stop box talk.
Non-stop box
I'd be
talk.
amiss if I didn't mention that.
Facts. Big facts.
I'm looking forward to when we eventually have him here with us, because
awesome.
That's just going to be fucking crazy.
Yeah, that might have to be a live event for the comedy that'll hit. But speaking of Warzone, so new season patch drops.
Yes.
I know you haven't played it yet, but
correct. Probably will do that after we finish recording this.
Facts, dude. The update is legit.
Yeah.
Yes, it's another 20 gigs for most of us, which is
21
not
on
fun.
PlayStation.
Barf.
Yeah.
But once you get through that, the new contract supply run is awesome. Pissed a lot of randos off when I kept pinging it and I'd pick it up when they were trying to go for scavs. But then they'd get mad at me because I got a free self-revive and they didn't because they didn't follow me. But basically your supply run, you pick it up, it'll ping a random buy station and you have like a minute and a half to get to that buy station. And then once you get to that buy station, each person on your team can purchase one thing from the buy station at the discounted rate. So some of the strategies that are out there is drop there first, so you all get self-revives to start the game off. Some other strats are mid-game, like right after you get your initial loadout, because you'll still have some cash, and you can get that second loadout on a discounted price. And then the biggest strat is near the end of the game where you can get kill streaks dirt cheap. Just buy a bunch of UAVs. Each team buys one UAV, and then you probably still have cash to carry another kill streak, call your UAVs, get advanced.
Get that advanced, yeah.
Kill streak. That's probably the biggest one that I've seen. But I've tried out the first two, the very beginning of the game and mid-game, and it was legit because the squad that I played with, I had like 6,000 cash, so I bought the loadout, and then the other two guys had like 3, so one bought a munitions box and one bought an armor box. So we had bought both the armor box and the munitions box, and then we had the loadout drop. So you didn't necessarily have to pick your class that had max ammo on it. You can get something that was more kitted for the scenario, and then roll from there, which was that one we actually finished top 10, I believe. Finished top 10 with randos doing that strat. So that was kind of cool.
And that's people who don't play the game, who are more attuned to like Apex or even Fortnite, don't really get how hard it is to play Warzone with randoms.
Oh my God. So
the
hard.
very first game I played, the day that game mode dropped, I played trios with a couple randoms, and all 3 of us dropped at different parts of the map.
Yep.
Like there was no one's on voice chat really, and you can't communicate. The ping system is fine. Shout out to Apex for pioneering that. Mm-hmm. That's been such a help in every BR I've played since. But like, there's not enough options in Warzone for the ping system to really be effective. Mm-hmm. Like, sure, you can ping open door or open supply bin, or hey, there's an enemy, or hey, let's go here. But that's it. It's not like Apex where you could be playing with 2 randoms you don't hear a single word from and be like, hey, I need this. I'm looking for this. Let's go here. I'm watching here. I'm going to here to loot. Like, you have all these different options. Mm-hmm. And when you don't have that voice chat or that kind of accessibility in Warzone, it's so hard. Right. So like the fact that you guys finished top 10 on that is insane.
It was dope. It was lit, and it was one of those where I actually was the asshole that didn't have the mic because I was actually wearing my Beats because my wireless mic, since that's the only one I can use now since my kids broke my other one, died. So I had to use this, and I didn't have a mic, and both of the guys were talking. So I was like trying to communicate to them via like ping and like body motion. Actually, the best part, and the listeners don't know my take on it, but I refuse to get inside vehicles without a trophy system because
it's true. He will not do it.
And every fucking time I bend the rule, I explode. So I refused. They got into a rover and started driving to the supply run. It was like 100 meters. So I was like, I'm just going to run. So I'm running. They're behind me, like pushing me with the car. And I just hear, case in point, get in the car. Case in point, get in the car. So finally I turned around and just started like shaking my character. Just like, no, I'm not getting in the car. And then as soon as I did that, one of the dudes with the mic was like, maybe he doesn't want to get in because it doesn't have a trophy system. And I just started shaking.
Yep.
Exactly.
Dude, at least they got it.
They did. And honestly, that's why we finished top 10 is because they were picking up what I was doing. So when I pinged the supply run after we already got our class, I pinged it And the one guy was like, oh, I hate supply runs. You don't get that much cash. And the other dude's like, yeah, but look, we already have, 15 grand as a team. We could probably get loadout and a munitions box and whatever else.
Yeah.
So then I like pinged it again. Like, hey, that's exactly why I'm pinging this. So like, let's just do it. So we did it. And then when I bought loadout, they're like, oh, he already bought loadout. Let's get a munitions box. And the other guy's like, oh, I need armor. I'll get an armor box. So it just like worked out because they understood the strat. But yeah, there's times where you'll drop with guys and they're just like, oh, I need to finish my daily and land in Boneyard. And there's nothing at Boneyard. They're just doing it to grab a bounty or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
like, why are you doing
Which
that? You're
bounties off the
center ring.
drop are just garbage.
So dumb. The only time that ever makes sense is if you're hot dropping somewhere and you want to see where a team's at. Like that's
it's just a free UAV at that point.
Yeah, like prison. Like if you land prison, grabbing a bounty isn't the worst thing because your scavs are probably underground anyways. So you're grabbing the bounty to find out where the other teams are.
Yeah. Until they decide to give you one in like fucking Port or the north side of Farmyard.
Park.
Yeah. Yeah, that game, a little ridiculous. But I think so far, based on just what I've read, because as you said, I haven't played any of this update yet, this reloaded update. Based on everything I've read, I fucking love it. And I think it's easy for me to say that this is the best update since launch, probably. Yeah. When they nerfed the 725s, fucking okay, dude. Like, this added so much content, and like me as when we play Warzone, I'm definitely like a sniper fiend. I have like 2 buildings in downtown I like to go to just to be an asshole. Downtown. And like I just pull out my HDR and I usually absolutely feast people. I'm not saying I'm elite, but I'm pretty close.
I concur.
But like the update increased damage range for the 50 cal, which already had insane range. Like us sniping at people 500 meters away, just seeing if we can hit them. We're just downing dudes.
And the fact that the patch shows you how far.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Dude, that's going to be all the COD YouTubers right now are flipping their shit because they're like, I've got my clickbait title.
Yeah, you know how many screenshots people are going to do for their thumbnails for all their videos?
Oh, dude. At least every single video for the next week.
Yeah, 100%.
But I'm very excited for that. I can't wait to jump in once we're finished here. But business first, obviously.
Yeah, 100%.
Which, speaking of, why don't you say we get into what we're really here to talk about?
Let's do it.
So
I'm excited.
Hey, a month late or however long it's been, PlayStation had their PlayStation 5 reveal event, which was so sick. I was pissed I didn't get to watch it live because I was at work or whatever.
I tried my best to send you recordings.
Yeah, he was sending me fucking screenshots and screen recordings of gameplay footage, and I was like, I'm so lucky I have my cousin who will just share all the shit while I'm out on smoke breaks, just like, oh, this got announced. Oh, this got announced. Oh my God, this got announced.
Almost like the entire time I was like, okay, these games are coming out, cool, whatever. And I was trying to like have screen record ready. So like if it was something where I was like, oh, hell yeah, I just hit it and go. So when the Miles Morales one started, I was like, oh yeah, boom, started recording. I literally dropped my phone because I creamed my pants when the Ratchet and Clank one started playing.
Oh my God,
I was like,
dude,
no way. And I dropped my phone. I was like, fuck. So I had to rewind to screen record it to send it to you.
And it was so funny because you sent me that and I was like, oh yeah, man, I was out on smoke break. This is part of the fucking event I saw. It was like the one part of the event I saw live was the Ratchet and Clank reveal. But first off, let's get into just the PlayStation 5 in general. I wrote down some of the specs that for like non-PC or tech-savvy people like myself care about. So it's coming in stock with 16 gigabytes of memory, which is nice. I think that'll certainly help with how the system runs and just hopefully not dropping as many frames. Hopefully your frame rate isn't in the toilet with that game or with that system. Coming standard with an 825 gigabyte solid state drive which is expandable. So you can get other solid state drives that are compatible with the PlayStation 5 and increase your storage. And it'll also, just like the PS4, have other extended storage options such as external hard drives and USB devices, which I love. Because I know for me, I'm sitting here with a 500 gigabyte PS4 Slim with a 2 terabyte external hooked up to it. And it's just may sound crazy, but for someone I've looked recently with 213 items in their purchased section on their PlayStation library, plus all my physical games that aren't on my PlayStation, like that's just not enough space. Mm-hmm. Sure, I could upgrade and get like an 8 terabyte fucking external, but that would just be crazy. And that's something I don't have money for right now.
Yeah.
So I think having those options right off the top, the fact that I could just clear the external I have now and just plug it in, or depending on what games are cross-compatible, which is another thing we're going to get into. Fucking might as well get into it now. Sony's announced that the 100 most popular PS4 games will be backwards compatible at launch.
Which is
so you can expect games like, you can expect games like God of War on there. And I've recently found out that Gran Turismo has a huge following. And so I'm sure like Gran Turismo 7 will be a cross-platform title, or I guess backwards compatible is what I should say. And I'm hoping games like Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us Part 2 should all be backwards compatible at launch. Yeah. But we do not have like a confirmed list.
Xbox One did with Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Because Xbox 360, or Xbox One, you could have some of the popular titles for Xbox 360. Because I remember when I got an Xbox One, I was like, oh, I'm going to go buy all the Xbox 360 games that I never played.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have an Xbox. And I remember like just getting all the 360 games that I wanted to play and then realizing like only half of them were compatible, but a lot of the games that I grabbed weren't popular titles. They were just games that I wanted to play because it was on Xbox, not on PlayStation.
Yeah, which is something I find weird about that. Why wouldn't you make everything that was like, say, an Xbox exclusive, if it was on even the original Xbox, why wouldn't you make that backwards compatible at launch?
Right.
Because I know I've picked up some original Xbox games, which I know that's sometimes quite a bit of a stretch to get backwards compatibility on a One, which I have a 1S and a 360 at my desk. So, worst case scenario will probably be backwards compatible on the 360. Like True Crime Streets of LA. Cult favorite. I fucking love that game. Bought it on the Xbox, the original Xbox, not backwards compatible with anything, which was fine. I was able to get a PS2 copy, so whatever. But like, there are other games that I've wanted to play that I've only found on original Xbox, and I'm like, why can't I play this on the One? Like Tony Hawk's Underground. I'm a huge fan of the Tony Hawk series and most skateboarding games in general. And I got Thug for the original Xbox, not backwards compatible on the One, backwards compatible on the 360. So I'm like, all right, I can still play it. And trying to buy a copy off like eBay is like $120. So $6 isn't bad for a last gen playing experience. But right now we can only kind of speculate on what's going to be available at launch. I think God of War is probably a shoe-in. That's the most successful game they've had this generation.
Yeah.
Fucking play it is what I'm saying.
Jeez.
Let's see here. We've got comes native with a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray player built in, because PlayStation, since the PlayStation 3, have been very big on Blu-ray.
Yep.
Which, I mean, that's just the way the industry went at the time. And I think having that Ultra HD capability is kind of a must at this point. Mm-hmm. A lot of people who are buying these consoles have 4K TVs. They want that experience. It's just a matter of, are we going to get on at least most of these PS5 titles that are coming out that we're going to touch on, are we going to get native 4K 60 frames? Because that was a big thing. The PS4 Pro is a lot of people were like, oh, my games can hit 60 frames per second, but it was only games that was a feature on. Not all games were running at 60 frames. So having that would be huge, especially for shooters. You don't notice how much of a difference that makes until you play on something you can clearly tell. If you're playing on Xbox One X or PS4 Pro or PC, obviously, like you can tell that extra time you have just makes all the difference in the world. You can tell you're moving faster.
Yeah.
So we'll see what that does. We'll see what games get announced that have that as a feature. And also they have a I don't know what it's called, but they're supposed to lower load times.
Please.
Apparently, let's see here, 5 gigabytes per second is their load times.
Nice.
So PlayStation and Sony are looking to basically eliminate load times, period.
Do you know what the PS4 was?
I don't off the top of my head. I'm sure I could find it. But for you Fortnite fans out there, first off, why? And second off, those
in Fortnite for quite a bit.
I
recall you getting like not playing with me so you can get the Deadpool skin.
Yeah, listen,
all that happening.
That's totally different. It's Deadpool. It's the Merc with the moth. You got it, dude. Also, I might have like a couple solo ones. I'm not like good. But yeah, those load times are fucking atrocious. They're probably the worst I've ever seen. And that's coming from someone who grew up with like Crash Bandicoot, The Wrath of Cortex on PS2.
Yeah.
Which those load times were like not great.
No.
Granted, we had like no patience when we were kids, so whatever.
Yeah.
But Fortnite's just abysmal.
Yeah.
As like a game, and
the Uncharted games were awful because all the theatrics that they had to put into it. But yeah, those ones were brutal. It was kind of cool because like PS4 started like really seeing like how difficult it was loading screen wise and loading times for the PS3. So when they transitioned to the PS4, they really tried to implement things that could happen during loading times. So you'd see like videos, or you could like do something with your character while the loading screens happen. So it's kind of nice that they realize that we don't give a shit about that. We just want to play. So
yeah, that was something I really enjoyed about going back to the PS3. Jesus, that was a long time ago. Playing like the early Assassin's Creed games where you could control whether it be Ezio or fucking the other dudes, whatever their names were.
Don't matter.
Yeah. You could like run around in just like this endless void and just do whatever the hell you wanted.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that because it just gave me something to do. I'd just run in circles. Like I didn't do anything spectacular. I just ran in circles and I was like, this is entertaining. The glory of the PlayStation 3, everybody.
That was like College Hoops 2K. You used to do the layup lines when it loaded the game. That was awesome.
Or what was the one, NBA Live like 07, 08 or something, where they had like the half court that you shot around? Yeah.
Yeah, they actually EA Sports did that for both their NCAA basketball game and their NBA Live game. You would do like a half court shoot around thing while things loaded.
Yeah. I loved that. It was so much fun.
Facts.
And I guess 2K kind of does that when you're in like my career. You like walk out in the court and either get booed or cheered or whatever, and then you just have like 30 seconds of shoot around.
Yep.
But on the PlayStation 2 and 3, you had like 3 minutes to just shoot around.
Yeah, it took forever.
So we'll see what these load times are like. And I wasn't able to find anything giving me like a solid number on PS4 load times. If you do know and you want to let us know, because we're always willing to learn these things, throw down on the YouTube comments. This video is going to be on YouTube. And you can also email us and tell us like what fucking stooges we are for not
Facts.
knowing the load times on PlayStation 4.
Yeah. But before you do that, at least give us a thumbs up.
Yeah,
And then
please.
you can call us whatever you want.
Yeah, please. If you're gonna call us jackasses, please support the show in the meantime.
Facts.
So let's get into these games, because I got
Super stoked.
fucking excited about some of these games. And some of these games I didn't even know about, and then I did research on afterwards, and I was like, these look fucking tight.
Yep.
One game I want to touch on, even though it's out of order on my notes, is a game that's going to hopefully eventually come out on this console generation, but will also be available on the next generation. And that is another game that I just pre-ordered. I was so fucking not sure about it, but I finally pre-ordered Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, nice.
So I'm excited for that game. What I've seen and what I've heard so far have been really cool. Just these really deep, dense areas, like 6 districts, and like the Badlands is like a lawless wasteland outside of Night City. It looks like everything in there has a purpose, and every person in there has a purpose, whether it be good or bad or just to take up space, kind of like me. Like they've really taken their time and put attention to detail in this game. It's supposed to be like a futuristic Las Vegas, I think they said. Las Vegas or Los Angeles?
Yeah.
One of those big
Vegas,
cities.
I believe.
Yeah. So it's crazy. You've got buildings that you would see in like Dubai in this fucking city. And just mega buildings or whatever the hell they call them. They have talked about crafting is a thing you can do in it, whether it be crafting like utility items or maybe even like ammo or something. I think that's a really cool feature, especially because in this game, from what I've seen in gameplay, is there's some sections where you want to be very stealth. So having these little extra gadgets would be really helpful in trying to get in around enemies, taking them out in the best possible way, kind of like Metal Gear, you know.
Yeah,
hopefully,
like the Division. Like the Division has that where you can craft different gadgets and then level up those gadgets, and then they do different things.
Yeah. So I'm kind of hoping that's where they're going with that, and also the fact that they have their main story, but there's multiple like main quest lines.
Okay.
It's not just like one linear story. You're going through it, and then you have these multiple ways you can go with it and still continue on your main story. I don't know if this means if they all kind of link into one central focus, or if this is kind of alluding to the fact that there might be separate endings depending on which way you go with it.
So kind of like Far Cry.
Yeah. Far Cry and the Infamous games were another big one, especially the first 2. And even like fucking like Black Ops 2 had split endings. I didn't know that until recently. So I must have just played it the same way every time or whatever, because I'm not good or creative.
Or maybe you were good. Maybe you just beat that last level so fast that you didn't even allow yourself to like die and go to a section to then finish the alternate ending.
Bro, maybe
it's the other way.
I'm just too fucking good. Yeah, that's probably not true. Yeah. As the person who plays Call of Duty with me the most out of anybody. Let's see here. Some other games. Going with some of the big releases. PlayStation Studios, their internal first-party studio that was like San Diego studio and Tokyo studio and all that, have kind of been condensed into one just overarching PlayStation Studios. And one of their main titles that they released or announced was Horizon 2 Forbidden West, the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, a game I have not played.
Same.
I've heard it's incredible. Basically God of War before God of War when it comes to the visuals and the storytelling and some of the mechanics of the game. It looks really interesting. Now that this one's been announced, I think I might actually finally cop a copy of Horizon Zero Dawn. Check it out. Usually those very long RPG style games are just not really for me. I had to kind of force myself into buying Final Fantasy VII Remake because of just everyone telling me how great it was. And I was like, I played Kingdom Hearts. It's kind of the same thing, but like Disney. So better. Don't
Obviously.
So, I don't know. I've heard from
Adam.
a lot of people that, at me, please. I need the interaction. But I've heard from some people that it's like their favorite game of all time. And it's just this like genuinely cinematic experience.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I have written down that I know about this game is that it takes place in San Francisco.
Yep.
Like a dilapidated, super futuristic San Francisco. So it could just be San Francisco. We'll never know.
You never know.
But yeah, that game looks like it's going to be a huge success just based off of the first game. And I'm assuming they're going to continue, maybe build upon what they've already done. Now my pick for best in show, and Jason's obviously, Spider-Man Miles Morales.
So dope.
Oh my fucking God, dude.
And the concept console for it, fire. Take my money now. If that thing is legit, take my money now. I will pay $1,000 for it.
Basically, if you guys haven't seen the concept, imagine the PlayStation 4 bundle for the original Spider-Man, but make everything that's white black, because Miles is the red and black suit compared to the red and white, red and blue kind of suit as traditional Peter Parker would wear. Those are like two of my top 3 favorite colors. So yes, shut up and take my money, Sony.
I loved how when they announced it, it was like, at first you're like, okay, that's 100% Miles Morales. And then like it keeps going, you're like, okay, maybe it's not. Maybe it's a different kind of game. And then all of a sudden you start seeing, because like it shows like him reaching out and like he's losing his suit. So then you start seeing like the webbing and you're like, okay, that's definitely Miles Morales. And then they announce it and you're like, wait, what? I didn't know that this was even in production. And then there's all these war battles online about, it's just DLC for the Spider-Man game that's going to be on the new console. And it's like, oh, wait, nope, never mind. It's its own game. And it's like, nope, just kidding. That was a lie. It's just a major branch off where it's going to be its own disc, but it's still DLC. And then the studio, Insomniac was like, no, bro, this is its own game. It's going to be out for the new console.
Yeah.
It's going to be lit.
Big,
so excited for that one.
Big arguments online between Insomniac, the developers,
exactly,
and Sony, the people who are exclusively putting out this game. Like, this is just an expansion.
Yeah.
No. Wrongo.
Yeah. But I'm super excited about that.
Yes,
that's number 1, and then number 2 for me would be Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, which we'll get into next because Insomniac just keeps doing great things,
dude. Yeah.
Now I've got a bunch of notes written down here for Spider-Man Miles Morales. We've already touched on some of them. Apparently, one of the features they're adding, as well as the dynamic light cycles, the day cycles, dynamic weather. Because if you watch the trailer, you can see Miles kind of walking in wintry areas. And there's kind of some speculation going around whether or not, this is going to take place. You're going to have dynamic weather, right? They've already confirmed that. If like maybe snow or ice is going to play a factor in like web swinging, whether maybe, you know, if you try to swing on something that's like clearly icy, it's not going to stick as well. You can start falling or whatever. So there are a bunch of things they can do with that. I have a feeling they might do something like that, but it's more so going to be kind of establishing the set pieces, because Marvel Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4 took place over multiple seasons, but they were really just reskins of Manhattan. Like they didn't do much for the actual story and gameplay.
Right.
It was just like, oh, now it's winter. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. There's been a little bit of speculation about who the main villain is. And based on just some of the stuff we've been seeing, there's some speculation that we could be seeing the debut of Prowler, which, if you guys saw Enter the Spider-Verse, Prowler being one of the big bads in that film, Miles Morales' uncle, spoiler alert. So they're saying Prowler could be like our main bad, which I think would be super cool. I think Prowler's a very underrated villain who's kind of just now getting his moment in the sun.
Yeah.
But that's just based off of, you know, base color schemes. Seeing a lot of black and purple, with that being kind of attributed to Prowler. There have been also some talks about the Inhabitors having a role in this game, or that being a reason why Miles is kind of taking up the Spidey mantle. Is they're saying that apparently there's a lead-in comic that they did with the release of Marvel Spider-Man, where at the end he's talking to Miles and he says that he has to leave for a while, and he says, you know, if I'm not here, you take up the mantle of Spider-Man, you protect this city, that kind of deal. So we're thinking that it might be something to do with the Inhabitors, or this might be a way for them to feed into, and I highly doubt this is a big stretch, lead into the Death Spider-Man, that comic thread, which is a very crazy story, a very beloved story by comic fans. That's one of my favorite Spider-Man stories as well with God, what was her name? The Death of Gwen Stacy. That is
those.
Yeah, it's a great story. I wouldn't blame you if you did. Like, I'm sure a lot of people still have their copies or have like reproductions of it because it's just that beloved. So the Death Spidey, but I don't think that's the thing, because this seems to be kind of, some of the talk is that this is kind of a middle ground between a prequel and a spinoff. Kind of like if you ever played Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. That was a lead-in to the Phantom Pain, the main game. Little bit shorter, but it was really only like one mission. Whatever. But it was still, they had to make it its own thing because it was that pertinent to the story, and they didn't want to just like throw it in with all this other shit that's going on, which, if you've ever played the Phantom Pain, is a crazy game. But there's kind of talks of that, and I think that's probably more so the case, is like maybe at the end we'll see the return of Spidey in like the climactic battle.
Yeah. Well, I did see that they were I saw the Prowler one. I also saw Sandman, and there was a DLC tease for Venom, or Symbiote, but that was like finish the story, and then they'd have a DLC where you could do like a duo play where you can switch between Spider-Man and switch between Miles Morales, and you would fight a like opponent. what's his face, the hunter dude. I don't know why I can't think of his name right now.
Craven.
Yeah, Craven. Craven was another one that was like the DLC duo possibility. But
That'd be cool.
most of those seem like more fan wants than developer wants. Because what I've been reading is Insomniac really wants this to kind of branch off on its own, and then if they feel like they need to tie it in, they will. But for the most part, they really want this to kind of be like a part of their series rather than like a sequel, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out. But Insomniac, obviously, being able to slide this under the rug,
Yeah.
and then make it a focal point for the PS5 launch or preview, and then not only that, but psych, we also totally fucking lied to Sony as well.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Yeah. I mean, Sony, if Sony knew this whole time and they were just hyping it up, they did a really good job of making us believe that they didn't.
Yeah. Because would it be that much of a stretch to think maybe Sony has no fucking idea? But they would have us fooled. But yeah, I think in regards to Sandman being a possibility, I feel like they would probably save that for a standalone Spider-Man game. Although with the idea of, especially with that end scene of Spider-Man PS4, spoiler alert for that 2-year-old game, shows what's his face, Osborn, Norman, walking into his office, his little secret lab in his fucking apartment. Nice ass apartment, by the way. Jesus Christ.
Osborn.
Yeah, of course. He's running for mayor.
Yeah. Big deal.
But he's got Harry Osborn, his son, in that kind of like suspendment chamber with what appears to be the Venom symbiote or some other symbiote. Because people were kind of speculating that Norman would come back as the big bad in Spider-Man 2 as Green Goblin, or having even Harry come back as Hobgoblin. But it seems like there's going to be some sort of symbiote play in the sequel. We're going to see where that goes. I am watching it very closely, as I'm sure Jason is as well, because Spider-Man is my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It is extremely good.
Yeah. Play it. Play it. Play it. Do it. On topic with Insomniac, as we kind of alluded to, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. The first quote-unquote original title in the Ratchet and Clank series since the ones that were all really bad. Sorry. Did not like anything after 3.
Yeah.
And the movie tie-in was a cash grab.
Oh,
but
time was awful.
Yeah. No wonder they gave it out for free. Like that game. I got it for free and still wouldn't play it.
So brutal.
Next on my list for those games is Farming Simulator 19 over Ratchet and Clank. So some of the things they've shown in the trailers is it looks like there's some sort of dimensional collapse going on. Like the dimensions and times are all kind of interlocking and kind of just crumbling into one fucking like black hole extinction level event.
Yep. And like in the levels, you're going to be able to go through dimensions as part of like the level play to help you move throughout the map. They were talking about like the detail that they're going to be putting into this game is kind of what they're hoping to bank on to bring everyone back to the franchise.
Game looks fucking gorgeous.
Oh my God, dude, it looks so good.
Oh my
so
God.
Good.
And I love that kind of tie-in with the whole dimensional thing, because they also showed off the dimensional tether, which was kind of like, you know, you'll see like the little particles floating of like dimensions crumbling, and he has like a grapple that he just like shoots at it and he goes through it
Yep.
and just ends up like behind enemies and shit. And like it's a really big thing for the combat set pieces I've noticed, and just for level traversal they'll have those big like purple ones. Kind of reminds me with the tethers of Portal, especially because the fact that they used orange, so it's like we see what you're doing, Insomniac. You can't hide. And they've also yeah, and they also teased in the gameplay. If you listen to the dialogue, is they mention a fan favorite bad guy from the Ratchet and Clank series, that being Dr. Nefarious, coming back just to fucking crumble the world.
Interdimensionally.
So, yeah, just on a cosmic level, fuck shit up. Like, I'm excited. I hope they don't make him as much of a bitch as he was in the other game. But he was such a twat. Pretty sure I could have kicked his ass. But like if they went, no. But in like Ratchet and Clank 2, going commando on the PlayStation 2, he was fucking great. I loved it. At least I'm pretty sure he was the bad guy in 2. Might have been 3. Yeah. Fanboys hate me. But that game, I'm so fucking excited for it. I almost pre-ordered it. So I was like, this is one of the main games I'm looking forward to as like a launch title. That, Spider-Man, and that's really it. So like the 2. And of course, they're both Insomniac titles because they're great at what they do.
Nefarious was 3.
3, that's it. Who's 2? Does it say?
Stuart something.
Stuart Little. Stuart Little, confirmed Little. Bad guy.
Stuart Little. That
you dirty rat.
Boat races.
Dude, fuck that, bro.
Stuart Zergo.
Okay.
Was the villain too.
What a name. Couldn't have thought of anything else. That's whatever. Going into a cool title, but kind of a throwaway title. I remember when you texted me about it, so fucking excited.
Let's not talk about it.
Sackboy: A Big Adventure.
Okay, yeah, that's not what I thought you were going to bring up.
No.
Sackboy is going to be lit. I'm
not bringing Stray into this conversation.
Dude, Sackboy is going to be litty. Sackboy, have you played? I don't think you have, because I don't think you have the VR for the PlayStation. But the Astrobots game, it's like Mario World, but like with the Astrobots. And like when you wear the VR goggles and you use the controller, like your controller like comes to life. So like they pop out of like your touchpad, and like you can just like fling them all on the map. Like super interactive, makes it like if you're bored and just want to like just play a game just for fun, like it's a great game for that, because it'll suck you in for like a couple hours. And
I'm sure you're excited to play that with the kids.
100%. And
like
Sackboy is going to be exactly the same, just with Sackboy instead of the little Astrobots.
Yeah,
and it's going to be not VR exclusive, which is going to be cool.
Yeah, I think that adds a lot of accessibility to it, because I know for the longest time I haven't been able to get a VR. It's just not in the fucking budget. And I know that's the case with a lot of people. They are just cranking out these bitchin' titles on the VR.
Dude, like the Iron Man looks
tight. Beat Saber, I fucking wanted to play that for so long.
So good.
But I kind of drew that Mario comparison too. Watching it, it looks like if you ever played New Super Mario Bros. U or whatever on the Wii, it was like a 3D Mario Bros. Game.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it looks like.
Yep.
So if you're into those like Mario 3D platformers, fuck yeah. Like they're just a classic genre. That's what this whole kind of thing was built around. That and asteroids. And Pong. Dude, I love playing Pong. It's so much fun. Moving into a game from Gearbox Publishing They did not develop this game. I made a mistake in assuming that when I saw the trailer, but Godfall.
That's the one I was hoping we wouldn't talk about. I thought that's when you were like, I was super hyped about that. I thought that's what we were going to talk about.
You were fairly hyped about it. I think I talked you down a bit too much.
Yeah.
Just because I wasn't. I saw it. It's a really cool concept, but to me, it just looks like Melee Borderlands.
Yeah.
Like, you're just, beat this guy. Here's some stuff.
The way it was,
do it again.
The way it was described in the articles that I read and like the images that were shown, I put it together like it was like For Honor meets Batman Arkham Asylum. Like that's what I envisioned in my head. Then when they showed the gameplay of it, I was like, yeah, pretty close.
It kind of gives off those vibes for sure.
Then I started watching more, and I was like, oh my god, this game's gonna freaking suck. This game's gonna be bad. Like, just it's gonna be a game that I'm probably gonna force myself to buy because I'm gonna try to prove everyone wrong, and I'm gonna play it and it's gonna suck, or I'm not gonna play it and it's gonna be like freaking
God of War.
No, I was gonna say Death Stranding.
I was gonna bring that up. I was like, how's Death Stranding going, dude?
Hey, the controller's lit. The controller is lit.
The controller and the PS4 fucking Pro bundle.
Lit, dude. Lit.
This man buys the bundle just for the fucking console. He's like, I have zero intention.
And the controller
has zero intention on playing the actual game. Still wrapped.
Still in the wrapper.
Yep. Just like Kojima wishes it was for everyone. Sorry, bud. There it is. Still in the cellophane. Norman Reedus, you've done so much better in your life, man. Fucking Boondock Saints, Walking Dead. PT. This was supposed to be kind of like, since Silent Hills got canceled, it was supposed to be like, well, we've got Norman, so gotta do something with him. Yeah. So they made him a mailman.
A fetus mailman.
The Reedus fetus.
Reedus fetus. Yeah.
So. All right, moving on from that guaranteed travesty. Another game that isn't a launch title, but when I saw the trailer for it, I think I was the most hyped I've ever been for a game in this series, and that being Resident Evil 8 Village.
More than Hitman?
We'll get into that. I have a very love-hate relationship with Hitman, as I own all the fucking games. All of them. But we didn't see any gameplay footage, really, other than maybe some like pre-rendered stuff for cutscenes. But basically, what it looks like kind of setting-wise and enemy type-wise is more similar to Resident Evil 4 with Leon Kennedy. And you're kind of fighting off those like culty fucks that are like have like some sort of weird shit going on with them where they don't like people. I think I have that.
Hopefully it doesn't get to that level.
Yeah.
Might have to find you the antidote.
Right.
It's called Travis Scott.
Hey, don't you open up that window. Don't you do it. So
it's
this was going so well. Is a direct sequel to my favorite Resident Evil game, which is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. After Resident Evil 4, they most certainly did not put out a Resident Evil 5, 6, and 6 that were just...
I remember a Resident Evil 5 Gold Edition.
Man, don't know what black market website you were on, because those games don't exist. Fucking fight me. But Resident Evil 7 was so fucking good. It was so good. They ditched the over-the-shoulder and fixed camera angles for a first-person point of view, which I think supremely improved it. There are times where I knew what was coming, and I was still, like, jumping out of my seat. Because I'm a wussy. But so you're still playing as Ethan, who was the main
Hawke?
guy. Huh? No,
Oh, that'd make it better.
it would have been sick.
It would. Fuck you.
Wow.
You heard it here first.
But you're still playing as that Ethan dude, and it looks fucking insane. It looks like you're dealing with some very culty, crazy fucks.
I feel like they're gonna go back to like small map area gameplay, kind of like Resident Evil 2, where you're like strictly in the police station. Because obviously it's Resident Evil 8 Village, so
yeah,
assuming the title stands correct, you're going to be in a village.
Yeah.
But a lot of the things that I've been reading is they're going to try to really make it like make you feel like you're there. Because sometimes like the Resident Evil games, they like expand it so much that it's just like, okay, how'd they get there or whatever, like this part of the map sucks, this part of the map's fine. But when they make it so small and they condense it down, it makes you feel like you're actually there and you remember locations to where, you know, you're constantly like Resident Evil 2. What made Resident Evil 2 so cool was the in-game saving where you go to the typewriters and you go to storage boxes and all that. Like you knew where everything was. So like if you were in the middle of a mission collecting jewels or whatever you were doing, you knew, oh, hey, I can go back to this typewriter right here and save my game or whatever. And some of the things I'm reading is they're trying to go back to that because they feel like that's kind of, it was so new, I guess, but it was something that it was a concept that a lot of games had, but they just didn't perfect it like Resident Evil 2 did. And I've been reading that they're trying to go back to that to where like you'll have a safe house and there will be areas on the map that, you know, they can't see you or can't find you or and they're going to try to make you really understand the area, and being able to utilize your surroundings is what's going to help you get through the game faster. So they're trying to condense it down so you feel and fall in love with the map and understand the map so you can navigate yourself better.
And those guys over there at, who's that, Konami or Capcom? What was
Capcom.
Capcom.
Unless they changed. It's always been Capcom.
They've been on a fucking roll with these games. Resident Evil 7, like I said, phenomenal game. Resident Evil 2 remake, awesome. Resident Evil 3 remake, based off what I've seen, I have not played it. Incredible. Just sticking to the formula, you know, what's working is working.
We see it all the time with all games. Like you'll see, you know, games will come out with like 1, 2, and 3, and they followed a similar formula, just added more to the game. And then, you know, Resident Evil is a perfect example. They start trying to implement the move and change the maps and change the storyline, and it's just like, this is too much. You need to go back to what got you where you were at, and then they get back to it, and it's like, oh, hey, it's good again. Shocker.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, exactly.
Our fucking armchair game developers over here. I told you the whole time, fucks. Well, with the remakes, they definitely expanded a lot on it. Like they added moments that were specifically new to the remakes, which I thought was really cool because it didn't jeopardize the whole source.
Right.
It's not adding too much to the story. It's just adding layers.
Right.
And if they stick to something like RE7, because the whole game basically took place on the Baker compound. I believe that's the name of the people, was the Bakers. And they have like this guest house and they have this huge fucking mansion. And that's basically where the entire game takes place. And there's so many twists and turns in it that you just like don't really see coming. The ending's fucking insane. And they kind of pick up where that ended in the end of the trailer, because at the end of the trailer for Resident Evil 8, you see a man standing over a person unconscious and then the player character Ethan, and he says, "I'm sorry, Ethan," and then shoots the body. I think it's his girlfriend Mia. I think she makes a return in the game. And then Ethan says, "Chris, why?" Revealing that that's Chris Redfield, who makes his appearance at the end of Resident Evil 7. Spoiler alert. So having those returning characters and, continuing this really large story that people like myself really fell in love with, and sticking to what's been working, like we've proven it's been working. Like these are, very critically acclaimed games. And it's kind of bringing Resident Evil as a franchise back to light. That's why they remade 2. That's why they remade 3.
Hopefully not to a level where they try to make another shit movie.
Yeah, please leave us alone with that garbage. So yeah, due to the fact that we don't really have gameplay or have a whole lot of specifics on it, we can't really go into too much detail on it. But other than to say, I'm excited. I'm really excited for this game.
Have I ever told you my Resident Evil movie story?
No.
Forced to watch it twice.
Oh my God! Please tell it now here on air.
So we were in middle school. I believe we were in middle school or like freshman year in high school. And the cool thing was to go to a movie super early Saturday and then watch every other movie until it was nighttime. And that's what you did. You just went to the movie theater and hop movies and tried not
theater
to
hopping.
It was awesome. So what we did was
don't do that, kids. It's illegal.
Yeah, and it's awful to do to the people that make these movies. You're just taking money out of their pocket.
Yeah. How dare you do that to Mr. George Lucas, a man who is very much struggling for money right now.
Speaking of George Lucas and kind of in that fantasy realm, I did it to the Indiana Jones Crystal Skull. They fucking deserve it. They fucking deserved it. I'm so glad I didn't pay a fucking nickel for that movie. But
so
bad. We always would run into rated R movies because then when you movie hop, generally like the rated R movies weren't playing at 11 in the morning. So you would, go see like a couple movies and then you try to go into the rated R movie. And if you snuck in properly, you were good. But if you got caught, you got double caught. You didn't get the movie hop caught. And then you also got you're underage in a rated R movie and your ticket is for a PG or PG-13 movie. Yeah. So we were like, I got it. We're going to go at like
you guys are supposed to be here watching Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
It's actually Norbit, but
gross. I'm sorry, but
yeah, dude. Fuck. No, there was a day, I believe one of the days we saw Norbit, The Messengers, Beowulf.
I forgot they made that movie.
Yeah, that was awful. So we're like, okay, let's find the earliest rated R time, any movie that's out. We really wanted to go see Good Luck Chuck, the Dane Cook movie. Yeah, that was like the one that we really wanted to see. So we're like, let's find the
Dane
earliest.
Cook was popular for some reason.
Yeah, we wanted to go see the earliest rated R movie, and then we can hop. And then if they ever like try to see our ticket, they'd see that we already got a rated R ticket, so it wasn't that big of a deal. So we got Resident Evil, which was at like 12:30. I don't even remember which Resident Evil it was. All I remember was fucking dog shit. So we watched that movie, and then once it was over, we walk into Good Luck Chuck, and we start watching it. And as soon as like the initial big boob scene happens, which let's be honest, being freshmen, that was really the only reason why we wanted to see it.
Yeah, certainly not Dane Cook.
No, the guy comes in and he like shines his flashlight and he's like, "Are you guys in the right theater?" And we're like, "We think so." And he looks at our ticket, doesn't even look at the time, just looks at the movie and sees that it's rated R. He's like, "You're in the wrong movie." We're like, "Really?" Walks us back to the theater we were just in and fucking sits us down, and we had to watch Resident Evil again. Awful. This was back in the day of PSP. Okay. It was me, my buddy Justin, my buddy Andrew. We were all three playing our PSP in the front row of Resident Evil, not even watching the movie. And then like 40 minutes in, we're like, should we go try it again? And we're like, no, this literally ruined our day. Let's fucking go home. So we literally left the theater and just said, fuck it. And all we watched that day was a set of tits on Good Luck Chuck and Resident Evil 1.25 times. It was the worst day of my life.
I wonder if that won any stinker awards.
Ooh, maybe.
That's something we're gonna have to bring back.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We've discussed this before off record, but for those of you who don't know what the stinker awards are, there is a thing that was fucking bunch of shitty movie critics who did the Stinker Bad Movie Awards, which are fucking hilarious
and upsetting because there's a lot of movies that shouldn't be on there, but they put them on there. But yeah, it is absolutely hilarious to read. So we will definitely have to do an episode on this.
Just saying, Kung Pao Enter the Fist is a fucking masterpiece.
It's Betty, you son of a pig. The name is Betty.
Now I just want to quote that movie, but we have a show to do.
It's so good. So good.
Next up on my list was Deathloop, which was a game that you were a little skeptical about at first.
I'm still skeptical, but it's questions. Like I just once I'm like immersed into the gameplay, I feel like I won't. But like there are questions about the game that I have.
Basically, what I've picked up on art style wise, it's very Dishonored. For anyone who played the Dishonored series, very similar game mechanics and art style. A little bit more colorful than the dreary fucking London slums that the original game takes place in. But the storyline kind of follows somewhat of like a Happy Death Day kind of story. You got all these rival assassins or whatever, and you have to like take them each out one at a time, kind of like Dishonored. But from what I understand is if you die, you start over. Now, when I say start over, I don't know if that means the whole game or
Right,
just
and that's
to,
where
like,
my questions come
level.
in.
Yeah, because if it's a whole game, I'm not buying a roguelike fucking assassin game. Fuck that. If I want to play a roguelike, I'm going to play like Dead Cells or Gungeon or Binding of Isaac or something like that. But I'm not like in a game that looks this challenging, honestly, for people who aren't kind of accustomed to the stealth style gameplay of like that, like in Dishonored. It's gonna be difficult because you can't just take on every firefight. You can't just take on every person. Like you could, you're just not gonna have a good time. You're gonna
especially if you get, and this is like where going back to like, do you start completely over or do you restart at like a checkpoint, or like when you die, is it still part of the story to where you start back over, but now your level is increased in difficulty because now you have to do this before you do that because you died, which would be cool because you're still adding content as you go.
Yeah.
But if it's the same content over and over and you're getting like 20 minutes deep and you keep dying and it sends you all the way back, I'm out. Like I don't have the mental capacity to do that, to be like, okay, this is what I did wrong. I need to do this. And then you get it and you still fuck it up and you get sent back and you're like, oh, let's spend another 20 minutes trying this again. Fuck that. No thanks. But if you go back and it's like, oh, because you did that, now you have to do this, and then it might lead you back to that spot, then I'll do it because you're still adding the content to where it makes it fun.
It really increases a big thing that game developers have to look at nowadays is replayability. Mm-hmm. That's why you've seen New Game Plus make a huge surge in a lot of games. God of War has a New Game Plus. Spider-Man added one in an update later. Naughty Dog's confirmed that The Last of Us Part 2 is going to get a New Game Plus. A lot of games where you have to do a lot of leveling up and like getting loot and things like that have a New Game Plus mode. So I think having those extra barriers from dying before really increases the experience. Mm-hmm. Because you can go back and play that and you're not going to play it the same every single time.
Right.
If you die and now you have to do this to do that, sick. Give me more. Right. Give me more shit to do. I'll die like 7 more times, so I have more shit to do. Right. So we've seen a little bit of gameplay of that. I've said it before and I'll say it a million times. It looks like Dishonored. Like skill-wise with your little like blip teleport thing you can do, and like gun variation. We've only seen a few different guns. like a akimbo pistol, I think some sort of a rifle and a shotgun. And I think maybe like an SMG. I'm not sure about that. But depending on how they execute it and when we get more details, more gameplay of it, I'm sure we can kind of finalize where we stand on this game. But right now it's kind of open to question.
Yeah.
Another game that's open to question, Hitman 3. We kind of touched on this a second ago. I'm a lifelong Hitman fan. Started back on, I believe it was Contracts, and then Silent Assassin, Blood Money being God tier. Absolution, and now this new series that they've kind of been doing at IO Interactive, where they did Hitman Season 1, where they kind of released it episodically, which was kind of like a hindrance for a lot of people. I know I didn't buy the game until the whole season was out, and they put out like a complete Season 1. And I was like, cool, I'll play this now.
Right.
And I had a lot of fun with it. The first one was really awesome. Second one, I've barely gotten into, but based on everything I've heard, they released it all at once. And they also released a legacy pack to where you could buy the Season 1 levels and you could play it all on one disc. Which I thought was a cool thing to do, but also like, do you need my $60 again for this game that's 2 years old?
Right.
Bethesda.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah, they do, probably.
Yeah, too much monies.
But Hitman 3 is the conclusion to this world assassination storyline they're going on, where it's taking you all over the world, and they've shown off a little bit of a level in Dubai, where you're on one of those mega skyscrapers, and apparently you got a couple people to kill. You don't really see much of it, but it's classic Hitman gameplay of sneak around, fucking take people out, take their disguises, and get around to different areas. You know, very stealth oriented. That was kind of my introduction into the stealth genre. And it's still something I go back to all the time. So I'm to an extent excited about this game. I still need to finish Hitman 2. But once I finish that, I'll really kind of have an understanding of where they're at, concept-wise and gameplay-wise, and we can go from there. And if they release more details and more gameplay, please release more gameplay. Then I'll have something more to go off of.
Right.
But for now, it's kind of a meh, kind of like Deathloop. Rainbow Six Quarantine's a thing. So it's like a 3-player co-op. It's not following the same formula of Siege, where it's the 5v5 kind of competitive game modes. This is they released a game mode in Siege called Outbreak, where it's a 3-player co-op, and you've got these like fucking alien mutant things attacking you. And apparently Outbreak on Siege was hard. Like, unless you were already like a pro player, you stood no chance. It's something that I heard about it. I never played it. I'm just now getting back into Siege. But it sounds like that's going to be kind of the that's what it is, you know. I'm sure there will be some online stuff so you can party up with friends. They said there's going to be a co-op campaign. So kind of going back to like the older Rainbow Six games, like the original. I remember playing the original on PC, and it had like a story kind of, or at least like a set of missions you had to do in succession.
Yep.
So I think that'll be really cool. They're going to add new operators and new abilities. And speaking of new things, 100% new development team at Ubisoft Montreal. It is not the same dev team from Siege. So it takes place in the Siege universe. We're going to have some returning operators. But this is we're breaking a little bit of new ground. They have kind of a layout of how they want to do things, and what I've seen from the trailers of it is it looks pretty insane. If you're into that, fucking A. Do it. I'm sure it'll be a great game. Ubisoft's been putting out bangers for the most part.
Yeah.
I will probably play Siege for another couple of years. Granted, the game's already been out for like 5 years, and they're still adding shit to it. So it's kind of, if they take as much care with Rainbow Six Quarantine, great name to have right now, by the way, Rainbow Six Quarantine.
Is it?
No, it's not. Everyone stay safe.
Super
Wear a fucking
original.
mask. Apparently it got announced before this though. So like, yeah.
Easy PR move.
Yeah, right.
We thought of it first.
Yeah.
You guys had to go get sick.
Yeah. Hope you all are staying safe.
Yep. Wear a mask.
Yep. Wear a fucking mask. No one asked you to wear a chin strap. Wear a mask. Moving on from that, the game I'm probably most excited for right now, which is Watch Dogs Legion. Now, this game was originally scheduled to come out March 6th of this year, 2020, the year of our Lord.
But it's July 1st.
Yeah, right? So I don't know if there was just a development mishap or if this was just like right at the very beginning stage of this coronavirus thing we're going through right now. But it got delayed. And going onto Ubisoft's website when I was looking it up, there is no release date. So if this is a development issue, they don't want to confirm anything right now. Currently, it just
smart
says
PR move.
Yeah. Currently, it just says coming 2020, which granted, we're recording this right at the beginning of the second half of the year. So there's still plenty of time, but with the way I understand of game design and how things go, these things take time. So if there's like major issues, they're going to want to take their time with this because they've hyped it up a lot and they've got people like me very excited. Kind of taking it into the setting, we're looking at a near future version of London, England, that is. Kind of dystopian.
What other London would we be confused with?
London, Ontario, Canada. Don't fucking quiz me like that again.
I understand that it's Canada Day.
Yeah, dude, fucking happy Canada Day. I'm wearing my hockey hat.
But yeah, I don't. Aside from you, I had an idea that you might go that direction, but I was like, no, he's gonna say something stupid. And you didn't.
Noted.
So good for you.
Yeah.
But,
I know things.
90% of the listeners have no idea.
I drink and I know things.
Good Game of Thrones reference, even though you haven't finished it.
Nope. Thankfully for me, that was on like the pilot. So
X.
I have like the first 3 seasons. So whenever I can watch them.
By the way, good callback with the How I Met Your Mother.
Dude, right? I was hoping you'd get that. I figured you would.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's good.
Such a good show.
Yeah. Fantastic show.
But with Watch Dogs Legion, kind of the era is police has kind of been phased out to private military groups. So kind of a touchy subject to get into. We're not going to get into it.
No defund police talk?
No, we're not going to get into that. But very, very militarized is what they've got going over there. And a lot of the areas have been taken over by organized crime, doing some shady shit, drug dealing, human trafficking, you know, the basics.
The huge.
Yeah. Don't know if they're cutting off people's heads yet or leaving horses in people's beds, but yeah, Godfather
reference. All
dude,
right.
You know me. I got this shit. But they've really embraced the play as anyone thing. So every single person in the game, NPC, enemy, whatever, has a backstory. They have associates that they frequently associate with, schedules on like where they're going to be at different times, different traits. So like one will be like There was one they showed off in the gameplay demo of a chick that they wanted to recruit who was like an MMA fighter. Like
Ronda Rousey?
No, a good one.
Oof.
She's gonna put me in an armbar, isn't she?
Yeah, she would fuck you up.
No, 100%. I'm not saying
Ronda,
she's bad.
if you're watching, my money's on you.
My money is also on you. I'll probably try to run. I know my limits. But she had like plus 200.
Ronda Rousey out on our first episode.
I know. I feel bad about it. Rhonda, please don't hurt me.
I mean, I called out Ethan Hawke, but I could kick Ethan Hawke's ass. You could not kick Ronda Rousey's ass.
You're really fucking sinking in, dude.
Hey,
yikes, we're gonna be fucking hated.
Well, Ethan Hawke has no fans, so we don't have to worry about that.
All right. The burns keep coming. Anything else before we move on?
I literally don't know any movies that he was in because he sucks so bad.
Oh, wow. So with this game, you can recruit anybody. They showed off multiple times in different gameplay demos. You can play as like old ladies. Like just these fucking grannies that are just sneaking into like police stations wearing like a pig mask. It's like hobbling through shit. They call those low mobility characters, by the way. They can do everything that everyone else can do, just way slower. They have different stat trees that you can upgrade and different perks. And they have 3 different classes. Hacker, Enforcer, and Infiltrator, I believe, are the 3 different classes. So when you recruit someone, you can select them to a class that like best fits their attributes, and then you kind of level those up. So really cool. And another thing that they did was permadeath is a thing. If you fucking die with someone in that game, they're fucking dead. They're dead. They're dead as dicks, bro. Like, if you get critically injured, they'll give you the option, be like, stand back up or surrender. If you surrender, you go get arrested. And apparently you can like get your people out. But if you get back up, they're like, okay, we're going to fucking kill you now. We're going to end your life.
That's cool. I like that.
With how many people they're planning on putting in this game and how dense the environment is, and with this whole being able to recruit and play as literally anybody, you can recruit police to your cause. It's going to take some convincing. They don't like you.
Is it?
Probably.
I've seen enough gang movies to know that there's at least like 2 dumb cops that you can recruit.
Have you ever seen Superbad? There's a couple dumb cops right there.
Grown-ups.
True.
By the way, just so everyone doesn't hate me, there are some good Ethan Hawke movies, but it's not because Ethan Hawke's in it. And you do know movies that Ethan Hawke is in, by the way. Training Day? Ever heard of it?
Oh, dude. Fucking Denzel's my boy.
Yeah, see, Denzel carried. Ethan Hawke sucks. You could have put in freaking Jamie Kennedy, and that movie would have still been good.
What else was he in?
I believe he was in Magnificent Seven. He was in another Dead Poets Society, I believe.
Was he in Dead Poets?
I think so.
Well, I mean, he definitely got carried in that movie. So
yeah.
He was in The Purge.
Yes, he was in The Purge. There's another movie that he's in that I don't know why it's slipped my mind.
He was on one episode of Robot Chicken.
Yeah, no one cares about that.
Now I'm like really looking. Was he in Dead Poets Society? I need to know.
He was. He was definitely carried by the genie in Aladdin.
Yeah. Yep, he was in it. That was his 3rd acting credit.
Yeah. See, he sucks.
Yeah, he sucks. He peaked then.
Yeah.
Denzel carried Training Day with accompaniment of Terry Crews in his first acting credit.
Yep. And Jamie Kennedy credited as Ethan Hawke.
Man, you're just fucking letting loose on Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, I don't like him. I don't like his face.
Something I just want to fucking punch it.
Yeah, facts. Kick it, punch it, shoot it, something.
Bop it, twist it, do it.
Flick it.
Next up is Marvel's Avengers, which
Let's not talk about it.
God, I hope it's good, but fuck, it doesn't look like it.
Dude, it better be good, because the new trailer that they released, where they like actually showed some of the story and like how
was that the A-Day prequel video?
Yeah, and how they're incorporating like all the heroes. Like, first of all, you got the likeness of every single character except for Thor completely wrong.
Yeah,
and it's upsetting. And part of it,
Mark Ruffalo's got nothing going on. He could have done mocap for it
easily. But I will say this: Marvel Studios has really fucked this because of how well they casted their movies. Because now you see Thor as Hemsworth, you see Stark as Downey, you see Evans as Cap, you
see Scarlet as Black Widow.
Oh my God, she's so hot. But
fuck you, Colin Jost. Fuck you.
No,
6 ways from Sunday.
No, not fuck you. You're a hero. We love you.
That's true.
And
I admire you.
Idolize you.
You're very funny.
Yeah.
You do the jokes well.
Yeah. But I think because they did that, now when you see something like this video game and you're like, oh, that doesn't even look like Captain America. I'm saying that because I've read comics. I've followed comics my entire life, and it looks nothing like Captain America.
Yeah.
Are they doing it to separate themselves from the Marvel Studios? Maybe, but you fucked
Wouldn't
up.
blame them.
You fucked up. It's simple as that. Because I'm going to go to Tony Stark's house in this game, and I'm going to be like, that's not fucking Tony Stark. Where's Tony Stark? That's fucking Jarvis. Like, it's stupid. Stupid. This game better be good, because seriously, like, there has not been a Avengers style game that has been good since Ultimate Alliance.
Correct.
So this better be good.
Yeah. I have not played Ultimate Alliance 2. I have it. Never played it. The whole reason I bought a Switch is for Ultimate Alliance 3, which is so far pretty fucking great.
That's what I've heard.
Pretty fucking great. Especially since they kind of did, like, not the exact Infinity Saga, like Infinity War and shit, but they did it.
Yeah.
And it was good. Now, with this game, there's some things I like and there's some things I don't like. Getting into things I like that they are introducing Miss Marvel as kind of giving her origin story. Because I think she, especially as we get into this next generation of the MCU, it's good to bring characters like that to the forefront, because that's going to be the future.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Marvel's a very popular character, and I think she was like the first Arabic superhero. I think she's Arabic. Yeah. So like setting milestones and just adding diversity to this very one-way kind of thing of doing.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I don't like is you mentioned Captain America being in the game. Well, based off everything they've shown, he's fucking dead in like the first 10 minutes. He's dead.
Yep.
So it's like, cool. Wonder how you're gonna do that. Fucking, they're gonna do some sort of like Justice League shit where they bring him back and he tries to kill everyone. Yeah. Looks like they're doing MODOK,
which I'm
as the main villain. I'm very excited about that. They've also shown images of Abomination.
Yep.
Which would be pretty cool.
And that's like the thing with Marvel. Like, Marvel, for me, what makes Marvel so, like, you obviously have the DC Marvel debate. Marvel will always win for me because their villains are so good, and their villains are so reserved. Like, they don't branch off on their villains into like movies and video games as much. Like, you really have to dive into like DLC for games to get good villains because they don't make them accessible for everything. Like Batman, like you could literally turn on one Batman movie and there's 5 villains in one Batman movie.
Yeah.
Like Marvel doesn't do that. Marvel tries to make everything exclusive and make one villain and try to branch off that one villain. Like I've seen all the phase 2, phase 3 ideas for the movies and like trying to bring Ultron back. It's like, no, like you have a ginormous catalog of villains that are great.
Yeah.
Fuck this up. And to bring MODOK in, fucking awesome. When they brought the newest villain for the Spider-Man movie, why is the name
Mysterio?
Yes. When they brought Mysterio in, that was like, I didn't give a shit if the Spider-Man movie sucked ass. Mysterio was in it, and that's dope.
Yeah.
Like, they do such a good job on like adding that, and like Fox tried to fuck it up with Spider-Man, trying to bring in the Sinister Six and like do it all so quickly. It's like, no, like you have to develop these villains because they have like such a deep history and they are just so well developed in the comics that you'd be doing them a disservice if you brought them all in together. So to bring MODOK in is just, I'm super stoked.
Yep. Clarification here. Sony has the rights to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what
one thing I didn't like from that 8A gameplay thing was, man, is Taskmaster a fucking bitch. He's such a fucking wimp.
Mm-hmm.
Gets his ass kicked. Like, and it's not like a bag on Black Widow. I know, like, he's a big villain in her history. I'm very excited to see the movie when it comes out in September.
Maybe,
allegedly. Yeah. But like, they did him so well in Spider-Man. Like, they really stuck with his character.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just made him some jackass who just gets pushed around.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I really like Taskmaster, Jesus Christ.
Petco.
Yeah. But I really like him as a villain, and I just think it's a disservice to his character, where they're portraying him so far. Moving on to a game that's coming out not on the PlayStation 5. Let's make this clarification. I'm sure it'll get a port. But on October 2nd, it's about fucking time we get Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about fucking time.
Should have been the title.
Yeah, well, Sony. I got this. Don't worry about it.
Listen, Sony, we've already pissed off Ethan Hawke. My co-host has already threatened Ronda Rousey.
I did not threaten her at all.
100%. So
Ronda, I didn't threaten you. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to let you know
everything.
You fucking got the title wrong for Crash. Just gonna say it. However, game looks great.
F-bomb.
Super excited.
Dude, fucking that game.
Be a little edgy. Throw a fuck in there. No one's gonna like what kids are gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna play Crash Bandicoot now because it says fuck. Wrong. They're gonna be like, this game says fuck. Let's play it.
Yeah, that was the whole reason I got into Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, exactly. The only reason why I wanted to play Assassin's Creed is because you get to slit people's throats. That was cool. Yeah. Then my mom found out that was a thing, and she said no.
Yeah, but Fear 2, though, was still a thing.
Let's not talk about Fear 2.
Dude, let's not talk about you going out to clean your truck in the middle of the night after playing that game.
Ruined my life. Like, back when Blockbuster was the thing, and then Hastings developed off of that, and Hastings was still around, and we got to rent that game, too. Me and Mike used to go get the game, and we'd fucking turn all the lights off. We'd play it, and we'd fucking be stupid and play creepy music in the background. Dude, that game fucked us up. That game was fucking scary.
So with Crash 4, some of the things that they have shown is that Cortex and Coco will both be playable on their own levels, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. I don't think we've really been able to play Cortex in a expanded capacity since Twinsanity, which please remaster that game. Mm-hmm. I love it. I don't care how bad it was. I love that game. I remember in middle school, I used to wake up at like 4 a.m. like 3 hours before I had to be at school. I'm like, I'll play Crash Twin Sanity. This game's so good. Something they've speculated on a little bit, allegedly 100+ levels.
Damn.
Jesus Christ. Coming from Crash
Can't
games
drop
where it was
hundo
like,
levels and not put a fuck in the title.
yeah, or just anywhere. Put it in the credits. No one reads those. I'll read them.
Yeah, exactly. It's about time shouldn't have more than 69 levels.
Big facts, bro. That'd be so nice. But apparently that's a thing. In-game purchases have been confirmed. Yeah, right. Activision needs their money. And it looks like they're going to be keeping it kind of in the vein of Crash Team Racing, where it's just going to be cosmetic items. It's not going to be anything that fucks with the game. Obviously, I don't know how they would do that in a Crash Bandicoot game, but they find a way.
Yep.
And apparently they're going to introduce some new game modes beyond like time trial. So, because that was really it. It was like play the game, play it to get the gems, time trials.
Yep.
You're done.
Yep.
So I'm excited for that game. First game I ever remember playing ever was Crash Bandicoot on the PlayStation 1.
Actually, fun fact, your mom got me the original Crash Bandicoot for one of my birthdays.
Nice.
On the PS1. So shout out to Aunt Terry.
Dude, Aunt Terry's a goat.
Facts.
And then the last future coming game that I wanted to talk about, which again, I think is going to be on the PlayStation 5. I'm pretty damn sure. I don't know if it's going to come out on the past generation. Yeah. Because it just wouldn't really make sense, is Overwatch 2. Overwatch, in case you've been living in a fucking hole for the last like 3 years, pretty popular game. You know, some people like it. There may or may not be like a giant esports league that gets broadcast on ESPN on it.
From League of Legends, that's like one of the biggest titles that
launched esports. You got like League of Legends, Overwatch, Siege, Call of Duty.
Yep.
Those are like the big four. So some of the things they've announced for Overwatch 2 is it will have a campaign. It will have PvE missions, as well as bringing back the classic PvP that everyone knows and loves for Overwatch. You're also going to have hero-specific missions with their giant fucking cast of heroes. Jesus Christ. Co-op will be an option. You can level up your heroes, giving them better abilities, things like that, which I think will be pretty cool. You can also customize their abilities. You can add new ones just for the fuck of it. We're getting new heroes, new maps, and they're also adding in a new game mode called Push, which is kind of like that escort multiplayer mode on Call of Duty, where you have like the bot that does shit and moves things to like different point. You have to defend it. This one I think is going to be more so like a tug of war.
Oh, okay.
Where like I'm sure the bot will be like in the middle and you have to fight each other, and whoever has like more people or whatever will push the bot forward. And once you get to whatever mark, you win. So I think that'll be super cool. It took me a very long time to get into Overwatch, but when I did, I had a lot of fun with it. I'm still kind of just barely getting into it. But it's a fun game, fun concept. Art style's super good. And Blizzard kind of sort of knows what they're doing, I guess.
Nah.
Allegedly.
Nah. They made a movie.
Yeah. But those were the big excitement filled announcements. There are a bunch of other games we're leaving out of here, like Stray, potential game of the year.
That stupid cat game.
Yeah, that is a stupid cat game.
Why would you even put that on your fucking video? Like, what? You're trying to sell me on something? Don't sell me a game where you walk around a cat. It's dumb. It's as stupid as Again, Sony, you're fucking it up. It started with the F word. Now it's fucking a cat. Stupid.
Jesus.
Stupid.
I can see
Don't
the
believe
headlines
me?
now.
Look
Sony
up
fucked a
Stray.
cat.
Look up Stray. Look up the gameplay and tell me that looks fun.
Yeah.
If you
Breaking
can convince
news.
me that looks fun, I'll change my mind.
Breaking news. Sony fucked a cat. Your words, bro, not mine.
Bestiality. Chainsaw and Bob know all about that.
Yeah, it's true. This guy says he wants to fuck a sheep. Yeah, those are like the big games.
Yeah.
Other than Miles Morales and Ratchet and Clank, what's like your big game off that list that really sticks out to you?
It's hard for me because a lot of these games are games that are either sequels or connected to another game that I never played. Like I didn't play Horizon. I didn't play Overwatch. So I can tell right now just by looking at the list, I can tell you Horizon and Overwatch are going to be the most popular. Of the ones that I wasn't already excited about, I would say Cyberpunk is probably the next one that I'm super excited about. I'm also, I've already pre-ordered the Avengers game, so I'm hoping that doesn't suck. But I would say Cyberpunk is probably the one that looks the best, looks like it's falling in line with how it looks, and it's really going to come down to user gameplay on if it fits the bill.
Yeah. It took me a really long time to get sold on Cyberpunk, probably longer than it should have. I probably should have pre-ordered it when Keanu showed up.
Keanu Reeves was in the promo.
Yeah. I know. I probably should have pre-ordered
John
it
Wick,
then.
bruh.
Yeah. The one, bro.
Yeah. Fuck sold.
Yeah. But based off the little bit of gameplay I watched recently, I'm like, all right. Eventually, hopefully, we'll get the fucking game November 19th.
Yeah, maybe.
So
we'll see.
160 something days.
What was cool, going back to like specs of the system, I did see that Sony was thinking about doing a cloud service. So it'd fall in line with the whole PlayStation Plus. And if you got the digital version of the game, when you would buy like the year or whatever, you would get X amount of gigs cloud storage. So then you didn't have to take up console storage for specific.
That'd be so tight.
Kind
of sucks for playing offline if you like lose internet or whatever.
Yeah.
Then it's like, fuck. But
yeah, but like now, like even most of the games that I have are all digital, so it's similar. But I'd also be losing all my saved data and all that garb.
Garbage.
Yeah, but that was something that I found pretty interesting, and I think if you want, like, obviously the debate was always, Sony versus or PlayStation versus Xbox. Xbox, you always had to pay for Xbox Live. PlayStation originally you didn't, and then when the PS4 came out, it's like, haha, gotcha. Now you do. And then everyone's like, well, now that we do, maybe we jump over to Xbox because Xbox has been around for so long. Well, if Sony can release this cloud storage and actually make it feasible for everyone and make the cost make sense, you're going to be plucking a lot of people from Microsoft, because that's a big thing for Microsoft as well, as far as storage space.
Yeah. And plus, with the PlayStation, with the fact with the PlayStation 5, they're doing a disc and a digital version.
Yep.
That plays a huge factor, because we don't know the spec differences between the digital and the disc version. But when you're getting all your games digital plus save data plus avatars and backgrounds and whatever the fuck else you have saved to your PlayStation, I'm not judging.
Why are you looking at my PlayStation, bro?
But like, that's going to make a huge difference. And that on top of the fact that, let's just be honest, PlayStation exclusives this is not a new thought at all. I'm not taking credit for this at all. They're just way better.
Way better.
I've never been a huge Halo guy, even in the early years when they were like objectively way better than the current ones. Gears of War never really did it for me.
That was like the only one. Like when I got the Xbox One, that was like the only game that I was sold on. And the only reason was I played it twice with people that were actually really good at the game. So
Yeah,
when you
same.
played multiplayer, it was fun. Got it for myself, fucking sucked. I
Yeah,
was like, this game sucks. I don't like it. All I wanted to do was use the chainsaw. And there's like maybe 1 or 2 times in the story that you could actually like use it where it made sense.
yeah,
Stupid.
yeah. Wasn't a fan. Really, the only thing with the Xbox One, the reason why I bought an Xbox One is because of the Rare Replay collection they put out, where you could play like the Banjo-Kazooie games and like Perfect Dark and just classics. Viva Pinata. Can't leave out Viva Pinata. But I'm not a big Xbox guy. I never have been. I'm very biased. I've owned every PlayStation. I own every PlayStation. I've grown up on their games.
Yep. Same.
Like Crash Bandicoot, like I said, first game I ever played was Crash Bandicoot. My favorite game of all time, Spider-Man, PlayStation exclusive. Like, they just have me in the palm of their hand. They could fucking show up and burn my bed, and I'd be like, all right, well, more time to play video games, I guess. And then I'd play their fucking games. But yeah, the ball is firmly in Microsoft's court. It's easy to say. They need to put on some sort of event that is somehow better than the one PlayStation put on a month ago.
Yep.
Which is hard to do.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys really have that many exclusives?
No.
To show off?
No. And here's
the only
thing.
way.
Like back when the PS4 was announced, that was like the PS3 and the Xbox 360 was the sole argument was, do you want to pay for online play or not? Like that was what the argument came down to. When it came to the PS4 and the Xbox One, everyone was talking about specs. Xbox was crushing the PlayStation in specs. When it came to exclusives, the PlayStation was way behind on dropping games. I mean, for the love of God, when the system was released, you had remakes of all the EA Sports games that had already come out. And on top of that, that's when like all the Ultimate Teams became super popular. So no one was going to go buy a PlayStation 4 just to restart all of their Ultimate Teams, all of their franchises. Right. You weren't going to do it. So you really had Call of Duty Ghosts, dog shit.
Gross.
You had what was that other game that they dropped? Well, they had The Order that was supposed to be the big.
Yeah, that was supposed to be like the rival to Rise Son of Rome for the Xbox One.
Yep.
And Rise Son of Rome was way fucking better.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like, then it was, okay, PlayStation no longer has the exclusives. It's coming down to specs. You both have to pay for internet. So Xbox wins. And you had a lot of people that were kind of on the fence that jumped towards Microsoft. Mm-hmm. Well, you look at the arguments now, you can pull up any subreddit, you can pull up anything, and you're going to find people arguing. And even the people that always have Microsoft are going to allude to PlayStation has the better exclusives. Yeah. The Xbox might have better stats barely, or more capability for the future, but the PlayStation has more exclusives now and more exclusives planned over the next 5 years that Xbox is going to have to pull some crazy stuff out of their ass for us to even be like, oh, hey, that might be worth it.
Yeah. And it's going to have to be more. It's going to have to be more than just the new fucking Halo and the next Forza.
Right.
Whatever. Exactly. Like, Forza's good. I enjoy those more than Gran Turismo games.
Yeah.
But like, that's not gonna suck me in. It's a fucking racing game.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, they're gonna have to do something. Like, my initial thought was like backwards compatibility. Like doing something to where not only can you utilize disc based, because let's be honest, you're now 4 systems from the original. Mm-hmm. Very few people aside from gaming collectors are going to have the original discs from the Xbox One.
Yeah.
you're not going to have the demand nor the markup capabilities to sell those Xbox One games to get people to purchase your console. So you're going to have to do it all digitally. So they're going to have to do something like the PS Now does, and they're going to have to do it exclusively for the games that were very popular for the Xbox 360, and the Xbox One. That's like the only thing that they could do that would make me go, okay, maybe it is worth getting the better stat system and having the capability of that, especially if they launched it with when you buy a year of Xbox Live, you get this for free for the first year.
Yeah.
Because that would be legit.
They kind
It's
of
probably not going to happen.
Yeah. They kind of have something similar to that. They have the Xbox Game Pass,
Yeah.
which I'm actually very proud subscriber to.
When I had my Xbox One, that's all I had. I literally had 2 games. I think I still have them. I have like UFC 3 and like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. And then I had the Game Pass, and that was it.
Yeah.
Like, I literally...
The Game Pass, I think, like, I don't buy Xbox games unless it's something that I really want to play. Like, I had to buy Cuphead because Cuphead is fucking amazing. But like, I think their choices for games on Game Pass is way better than PlayStation Now. Because PlayStation Now, you get a lot of like the PlayStation hits and like the classic games from the PS3, like Infamous and Infamous 2 and Infamous Festival of Blood and XCOM 2, I guess. But like it's very limited on what they put on there. I mean, they're going to put the big PlayStation exclusives from this generation on there. Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn. Things like that are on there. Yeah, Crash Bandicoot. But it's nowhere near the scale and the selection of Game Pass.
Right.
That's like one of the only things that really like keeps me using my Xbox, other than the fact that I want to play Skate 3. Is I go on Game Pass, I'm like, what's here? I'm like, oh, I could buy, like right now, PlayStation's running their special. They're selling all the Yakuza games for discounted prices. I can go on Game Pass and I can play them there.
Right.
And like same thing with like EA Access. I also have EA Access for the Xbox. Since when it launched, it was Xbox exclusive. Now they have it on everything. But like if I wanted to play like the Mass Effect games or something, or Plants vs. Zombies for some reason, and I didn't want to buy the games, I'm going to play them on EA Access.
Right.
Which the fact that they've moved that cross-platform is nice because now you have that same selection. Origin Access on the PC obviously gets some of the better games faster because people are typically putting out more money overall on the PC.
Yep.
But it's nice that they give you like the store discounts on PlayStation, Xbox. Like, oh, you want to buy Apex coins? Here's 10% off your Apex coins for having EA Access.
Right.
Sick. But I guess we'll see. I don't think they have a date announced right now on when their next event is going to be. I know EA Play just passed where they announced some stuff for current generation titles and some future things. But really the only things that can get them above PlayStation right now is a good selection of exclusives, a fucking release date, and price. Because right now
the price. They have to be Sony to price.
Yeah, because right now the wheelhouse everyone's going around in for the PlayStation 5, obviously there might be some discrepancy between the disc and the digital version, is about $450 to $500 schmackers.
My guess is going to be digital version will be $399, disc based will be $499. That's my guess.
Okay. I'm not sure if there'd be that big of a discrepancy. It really depends on how much has changed between the digital and the disc version. I think you're probably more of in like a $50 wheelhouse between the two, probably either $399 and $449.99 or $449.99 and $499.99. So I think
in there?
but it's a wait and see thing now. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what Xbox has to offer. When they put something out, you'll hear it from us. We will
Facts.
keep our eyes and ears open for any little tidbits we can get. That's it.
Yeah.
Jason, would you like to let the people at home know what we got coming up next?
Oh, super excited. So, brief premise on why this show was super important to me is dabbling in creative content, being a content creator for the first time ever doing my sports podcast. I started to see like how difficult it truly is. You look at these people that are, influencers on Instagram and Facebook and all these things, and you're like, oh, that's the life. They literally just post stuff on social media. Try it. It is super difficult. It's very hard to do what you love, project what you love, and at the same time, make sure that what you're projecting is worth it by putting it out there and getting it out there the right way with the algorithms and all that garb. So, the big thing that I wanted to do on this show is utilize our platform and bring on other people that do that so we can give them the proper face time that they deserve. So,
Absolutely.
obviously, being a gaming first podcast with entertainment involved, we wanted to start the show with obviously our beautiful faces and our beautiful minds projecting a couple episodes. We'll get another episode out here shortly with a third episode right behind it. And then our plan is by the fourth or fifth episode to launch our very first focus. And our focus will be on streamers and gaming streamers specifically. We're going to have some big time streamers, some middle streamers, some low end streamers, some beginners. And really our purpose for that is one, like I said, get them the proper face time they deserve. But also we want you guys to start seeing that this is a legit profession and the people that do this take this very seriously. And we want to um, let you dive into a profession that you don't know very well. You see your everyday professions in movies and TV and your everyday life. You don't necessarily see what goes beyond these webcams for these streamers. And there's a lot of work that goes into it. So we already have some streamers confirmed. And we already have about 4 or 5 slotted in. Most of them, or not most of them, all of them are Facebook gamers. So they're all affiliated with Facebook Gaming. They have thousands upon thousands of followers. So they have, hundreds of subscribers. So there's going to be a lot of fanboys that are going to be excited to see their streamer be on the show. And hopefully for you guys that like both entertainment and gaming and us, Avi, you're going to be able to dabble in a new realm and kind of understand the minds of these people, which is they're all young. They, most of them worked jobs and then started streaming and went in and told their boss, like, hey, I'm going to take streaming seriously. I quit. Like, that's a big step to trust in a profession that you don't know where it's going to take you, but also putting trust in yourself. Like, that's, especially now being in a quarantine where most of us have jobs, but we're working from home. Like, you understand the struggle of like staying motivated while you're at home. These people do this on a daily basis. So we're super excited for this focus. Our plan is to do a couple episodes a week and allow you guys to dive into it as quickly as you want because we're going to have so much content out there that you can pick and choose where you go. And the plan is to probably take up a month of this focus, and we're going to try to get as many streamers on as we can. Obviously, simple math tells you if we do a whole month, that's 4 weeks. We're trying to do 2 episodes a week. We're trying to get 8 streamers. Right now we have 5. So our plan is to start with that 5. If we end after the 5 and then we want to do another focus later on, so be it. But that's our premise. That's where we're starting. And we're super excited about it. We've been welcomed by every streamer that we've reached out to. They seem excited to be on, which is super relieving for us because it was an idea that we kind of were just like, this would kind of be cool. and we reached out to streamers, and 90% of the streamers are like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. It's been awesome to see some of the excitement that we've been getting from these other like big streamers, these streamers that have a following. You know, as us, this is our first episode and we've already got 5 locked down. Like, it's crazy to think that these guys were willing to take a chance on us, and it's very motivating for us to put in as much work as we can to bring you guys the content that you want to see and bring in other outlooks within this realm, you know. And with that, like, if you guys have a favorite streamer and you would love us to interview them, let us know. Let us know. Drop their handles down in the comments, message us, or reach out to that streamer. I know there are plenty of streamers I would love to talk to. In fact, one of them, I'm wearing their sweatpants right now. But like, we want to take this to another level. We don't want you guys to just have to hear from us. We want you to have kind of an inside look into how people are legitimizing gaming. This is a giant industry that we're in with entertainment and gaming. Lots of money to be made in it, and lots of personalities. And that's what I think I'm most excited for, is to hear these personalities and kind of interact with them, interact with their communities, maybe, you know, bring them into our own and have this big collaborative effort. Mm-hmm. So let us know who you guys want us to talk to. We're open to basically all suggestions. Mm-hmm. So we'd love to hear from them.
Yeah. So far we have Lenny from Lenny's Lair. She's locked in. We have Wink locked in. We have GG Fire locked in. We have Exhibit locked in, and Ricky Live locked in. So those are the streamers that we've reached out to that have accepted. We have reached out to some other streamers, and just unfortunately schedules just don't make sense right now, which, again, the whole reason why we're doing this is because we want all of you to see what this schedule looks like. And hopefully that means if this is a success later down the road, we can cross paths again and schedules make sense. It's the name of the business. And, you know, we're not going to stop reaching out. So absolutely. If you know a streamer, like a streamer, or literally just started watching someone that you feel like content wise, it's something that you're going to be interested in, drop their handles. We will definitely do the research and reach out to them and try to get them on the show for you. And obviously, if you have been following them or support them for a while and you want them on, feel free to reach out to them. Let them know who we are. You know, our Facebook page and our Instagram page will start dropping a lot of our handles and web addresses and all those things. So you can easily share those with them and get them in touch with us, because we would be more than happy to provide this platform for any streamer out there that is willing to put their face with ours, for sure.
Yeah. That's a big willingness. I've looked in a mirror recently, and it's yikes. But I think that's about it for episode 1.
Oh yeah.
This feels so good, man. This feels so good to finally get it off the ground and running. And let's keep up this pace. You know, hopefully you guys have enjoyed us sitting and talking for however long we've been talking. I know we were shooting for like an hour and a half, but I have a big feeling it's been longer than that.
Oh, big time. Just so I feel like I'm part of the gang. It might not be a poster, but
oh, dude, Wakanda forever, bro.
Wakanda forever,
dude. I don't have my Wakanda Wu-Tang shirt on. Maybe I'll wear that next episode. But thank you guys for tuning in with us. This is obviously, if you're listening to this, going to be up on YouTube and SoundCloud. And we're working with other streaming platforms to bring it to as many of you as possible. And hopefully we will be up and running on those platforms very, very soon.
And kind of like the streamer thing, if there's a platform that you like, generally once we get the ball rolling, it is, from my experience with my other show, it's easier for us to dabble in multiple platforms than it is to strictly try to put content out for one platform. So if there is like for instance, for my show, I probably did 20 episodes before Stitcher was even brought to my attention. I knew of Stitcher, but I didn't really see putting it out there. And then I actually had multiple listeners reach out to me and they're like, hey, we really like Stitcher. We use Stitcher for all of our podcasts. I think if we got notifications for your show, we'd listen to it more frequently on Stitcher. So I started sharing my stream with Stitcher. So if there is a specific app that you like, let us know. We will do our best to try to get the RSS feed over there to get the show to notify you and get you all the material you want as quickly as possible.
And with that, if you are listening / watching on YouTube, if you guys are enjoying the content, feel free to like and subscribe. It sounds cliche as hell, but it fucking helps. It really does. With the way YouTube's algorithm works, got to get it up there. Leave us a comment. Let us know if you want any streamers on the show. Let us know. Let Jason know if you want to defend Ethan Hawke. Don't know why, but
you better not.
And
if you want Ethan Hawke, then I'll entertain it.
Yeah. And if you want to know when our next episode is dropping, feel free to hit that little bell icon next to the subscribe button, which will let you know when our new episodes go live. Jason must have a fly or something.
No, I used to have a bell right here. So I was like, it's gone. It's over.
Yeah. I think I remember that day, actually. That's it. That's episode 1. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We will have another episode up very, very soon. Probably next, within a week. We'll say that within a week. Probably the next
week. Yeah, we'll work on some content. We might have a little special 4th of July episode for you. Who knows? We'll see.
Oh, yeah. Guys, thank you so much. I have been Cody.
You've been Cody?
Yeah. I've been, I maybe, I don't know. Whoa. Maybe I'm on another astral plane, bro.
Astro World? Travis Scott?
Astro.
Tie it back in? It's lit. I am still Jason.
So. He's still Jason. And we are done here today. So you guys stay safe, eat your fucking vegetables, wear a mask, do whatever it takes. But at the end of the day, just have a good day. We'll be seeing you soon.
Peace.